Look, the participant Muthukumar has raised your hands. Can I help you, sir? Hello? Muthukumar, participant?
By mistake ஏதாவது இதா இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Good morning, madam.
Yeah?
Just I put my presence, madam. I have no
Okay.
questions.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, shall we start the program, sir?
So shall we start the recording, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Proceed. The resource person has come.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then
So shall we start the recording, sir?
yes, ma'am. Proceed. The resource person has come.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then
So shall we start the recording, sir?
yes, ma'am. Proceed. The resource person has come.
Good morning to one and all. I welcome you all for the second day of International Workshop on Recent Trends in Scholarly Publishing. Good morning to one and all. I welcome you all for the second day of International Workshop on Recent Trends in Scholarly Publishing. Good morning to one and all. I welcome you all for the second day. Okay. Sorry for the disturbances in the starting. Anyhow, good morning to one and all. And I welcome you all for the second day of International Workshop on Recent Trends in Scholarly Publishing and Researcher Tools and Techniques. Thank you for taking time out and being here. Today's session is about research tools and techniques. Now I request the head of our department, Dr. N. Shetu sir, to brief about yesterday's session. And he is a person whose vision is irony towered, commands perfection, acting as a catalyst in many success stories, and he is a motivating force for all the young folks. And the session is over to you, sir.
thank you, Dr. Aguila, for your nice words. Once again, I welcome all the participants for the second day program of International Workshop on recent trends in scholarly publishing and researcher tools and techniques. I hope and trust that yesterday's program was very good and excellent. In fact, the feedback we got from the various participants evident that about the program. After the yesterday's program, from southern part of Tamil Nadu, one reputed college principal spoke to me over the phone and appreciated the organizing committee. And in fact, he wanted to have similar kind of program in his college. So that was the feedback from the academicians. With the enormous support and overwhelming response from all the participants, the program was made successful. At the outset, by the grace of God and our founder, Pachaiyappa Mudaliyar, who was philanthropist, lived only 40 years in the world. He survived only 40 years. And in his name only, the college is established in 1842. And it is one of the oldest and very famous institution in southern India. Even that was the only Hindu institution started those days. So in that college, our department, postgraduate and research department of zoology, very happy to organize this kind of international workshop, which is very much need of the hour to the researchers. Whatever findings they are find out in the MPhil work or PhD work, that has to be published properly in a proper journals. For that, this program definitely will be useful to all the researchers. As I said yesterday, the program was divided into 2 parts. Yesterday we had 3 sessions. In fact, all the 3 experts from Elsevier, right from the Celine madam, she spoke about the how to publish your paper in peer-reviewed journals. That is very, very important. You, just like that, you cannot publish your article any. There are so many journals are available in the market, but that will not have any value. It has to be published in peer-reviewed journals. So about that, the Celine madam delivered a speech, and it was very much useful to all the participants. Then the second session started with Mrs. Kalyani. She also spoke about the how to publish our research on Scopus. She spoke about the strengthen your research on Scopus. So that was also a very useful program yesterday. And the third one, particularly from the person, Dr. Mikhailov, Henry Mikhailov from Russia. He covered all other aspects about the scholarly publishing. So I am very much thankful to all the 3 experts who delivered valuable lecture, which was very useful to all the participants. You might have seen in this Zoom platform, only we can accommodate 500 participants. Other participants viewed their program in the YouTube. Link was given. So all you might have, so many people spoke, sir, we are not able to enter. Then I said, you watch in the YouTube like that. So that was the response. In fact, we have the feedback form, everything we have collected, and it is available with us. Thank you very much. And today, again, the 2 sessions we are having. The second part of the program, researchers, tools and techniques. So that is also again important in the part of publication. First session will be delivered by Neelanjan Sinha. Welcome, sir. Neelanjan Sinha. Your topic is also effective research writing with AuthorCafe. So again, we have, as I said, you have done a research work, how to write effective way. That is to be delivered by then Sinha sir. Then the second part will be again very important, that is introduction to reference management. As you all know very well, that whether it is a project work, MSc project work, or PG project work, or MPhil work, or PhD work, the writing, quoting the references, citing the references, literature cited, bibliography, whatever way you call, all plays vital role. In fact, in the evaluation point, whatever the references you have quoted in the test, whether it is mentioned in the bibliography part, that they will see. So in writing a publication, this is very, very important, the reference parties. So Mr. Sangeeth Cecil is going to deal today about the introduction to reference management. He is also working in Elsevier. He is a product manager. On behalf of the organizing committee, on my own behalf, the Pachaiyappa College, our PG department, I welcome both the experts. Today they are going to give deliver talk about the researcher tools and techniques. Above all, as I said, the overwhelming response from the participants, not only from Tamil Nadu, not only from India, of various states across the country, globe. Yesterday I have mentioned in my talk that more than 15 countries overseas people have registered, because the topic is that much important, and the Elsevier is well-renowned publisher, not only for the journal, also publishing books and all. So that is why that much importance is given by the participants. I hope today's program also very much useful to everyone. I once again thank and my best wishes to the organizing secretaries and the organizing committee members, and welcome all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The details regarding the certificates will be explained by Dr. Tilagam at the end of this first session. And the research tools and techniques help the researcher in developing and understanding the relationship between cause and effect. We are having Mr. Neelanjan Sinha with us today to explain about researcher writing tool. Mr. Neelanjan Sinha has more than 13 years of experience with various roles in the industry of technology. He is passionate about solving problems related to scholarly communication and research management. In the past, he has led Revolutionary Biology Learning Platform and Review Central Product teams. Currently, he is the product head of AuthorCafe. Welcome you, sir, and the session is over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Akila, for the kind introduction, and thanks to all the organizers and Sangeeth for inviting me to be part of this workshop. And thank you for all the participants for being here on Friday morning. Let me share my screen to begin my presentation. And I would request if someone can just confirm if they can see my screen.
Yes, Neelanjan. Yes, we can see it.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. So as you know, today we are going to talk about in this session how to do effective research writing. Like Dr. Shetty was saying that how important it is to do the research, and not just that, how to effectively write and get it published as well, so that the community benefits from it. Right. So AuthorCafe, it's a tool which we are going to see how it can help you do the job much more effectively, so that you can focus more on the core job, which is doing research, and leave some of the administrative tasks, leave some of the manual tasks for technology to do it. So that's going to be the agenda. So we will briefly look at some of the challenges which we have learned from by talking to researchers like you. So what are the challenges we have heard over and over again, which we are trying to solve? And then where AuthorCafe fits into that, how it tries to solve those problems. And then we will get to the product demo. And towards the end, we will have we'll have your questions as well. So let's look at challenges. One of the challenges which we have heard again and again from researchers is how to organize the content, right? Or how to organize your file. what happens is, especially this is much more prominent with early career researchers, people who are doing their PhD or postdocs, because as you gradually move in your career, you get accustomed to more smarter ways of doing it. But what happens in early days is you may have your reference in one place, you may have your data sets in another place. Something could be in your laptop, something could be in your lab machine, few things could be in your email, and so on and so forth, right? And when it comes to writing the research, whether it be thesis, whether it's a grant proposal or a manuscript paper, that is when you scramble to get all of those images, all of those files in one place, and then you really struggle because you're not able to recall where is what, right? So that's one problem which we have heard in this context. Second, and this problem has become all the more relevant in the times of COVID, how do you collaborate effectively, especially when we can't meet each other physically, right? How do you collaborate with different researchers, with your peers, or even, let's say, if we talk about PhD, then how do you get things reviewed by your supervisor or guide when you can't meet them physically, right? So we will see how with use of technology, you can still do these things very effectively. Third is formatting. Now, formatting has got multiple connotations. So what I'm trying to say here is, as a researcher, when you write the paper and you are done with the content, then you have to spend countless hours on making your content available in a format which is acceptable by the journal or acceptable by the institution, which includes right from choosing the format, column spacing, single column, double column, reference styles, citation styles, and so on and so forth. And all of these things are something which we consider a researcher should not spend too much time and effort on these, right? And now with the advent of technology, it should be basically technology should be able to handle this so that you can focus more on your core area. This problem, I think some of you might be facing, and I'm assuming that people here are from life sciences background. This we have heard very often from medicine students. They have to draw a lot of illustrations, hand sketches. So this is one problem which we have heard those people face a lot. Then equations. Now, equations, I know that most of you might be from life sciences again, but there are some cases where either you are doing an interdisciplinary research or there are some equations which come in, and because you are not very familiar with those equations or how to insert those equations, people generally struggle. People from maths, physics background, they generally use LaTeX code, which makes it very easy, but then it's a task in itself to learn LaTeX, and people who are not from those subject streams, it's not very relevant for them to learn that, and without that still there is a bit of a struggle. So we will see how you can handle equations very effectively without having to go through any learning curve. Lastly, language. Now, language is another big problem which we have heard, and primarily from countries like India, right? And again, this is far more prevalent with early career researchers. First reason is because English is not our native language. English for most of us, if not all, it would be second or third language, right? Our first language would be Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, or whatever, right? So we have again heard from multiple universities, multiple scholars that their students, even if their research is good, the content is good, and when they submit a paper to a journal, it does not goes even beyond editorial desk. It gets rejected or gets sent back for revision, saying that please get it reviewed by a native English speaker, or because there are too many words in it, or language is not proper, and all of that, right? And when we talk about language, there are two aspects to it. One is the basic spelling and grammar, which still most of us can figure out. But scientific writing demands slightly more than that. It's not just about language and grammar. It's also about presenting your argument in less words, presenting your arguments in such a manner that it can be understood by global audience, people with varying level of English proficiency. And those are the problems where we generally struggle and language becomes a barrier, right? So the idea is that language should not be a barrier for you to publish, right? So we will see that how this problem can also be tackled. So these are the 6 problems we are going to look at. If I have missed any problem, which you think is very important, I would be happy to take a note of that and see either we are addressing it or not. If not, then we would definitely give it a thought. So I would request if you can put those in the chat window, if there are any other problem which you think needs consideration. Now, how does AuthorCafe help? So we looked at these problems. Now let's look at where AuthorCafe comes in play. So AuthorCafe, it's a mix of technology-led product, which I'm going to show. Plus, we also offer services, and I'll talk about services in a bit. But overall, AuthorCafe, the objective of us building AuthorCafe is that it saves time and effort for you, right? There are some tasks with like some of the problem which I highlighted in the last screen. Our focus is that with the technology advancing day by day, we should pass on that benefit to the researchers, right? And so that the manual task can be automated or semi-automated, it can be made easy so that you focus on your core area. So savings of time and effort is one big objective which AuthorCafe tries to help you with. Second, which I said, that how you can do interaction or collaboration with other people remotely. So post-COVID, we all know the need has become so much more obvious. But even before COVID, let's imagine a world before COVID, even then, there was multiple times there used to be a need when, as a researcher, you want to collaborate with your researchers in other universities, other institutions in the same city, same country, other country, and so on and so forth, right? So how you can do that interaction very, very effectively. Third, around the language problem, that how we can increase the chances of your manuscript acceptance. So at least because of language, you never suffer, right? So these are the three broad objectives which we have, around which we try to build AuthorCafe and solve your problems. Now, the last slide before I go to the product demo. So I spoke about all of the problems, and I also spoke about language. Now, rest of the problems can still be handled by technology, but when it comes to language, technology has its own limitations. Despite the some advancements in artificial intelligence and machine learning, natural language processing, as you keep hearing around, still technology has to evolve a lot, right? And that is why humans have a role to play. So when it comes to language, technology can only do as much. For further enhancement of language, we have people who are PhDs, and they are from countries like US, UK, Canada. Those guys do language editing, where they look at your language, grammar, consistency, technical accuracy. And the last 2 points are something where technology has its limitation, right? And further, how to ensure that there is a logical flow in your report, presentation is proper, the content gets enhanced so that it supports your argument, right? And it comes with assurance that your paper will never be rejected for language. That's something which we can assure. Of course, we can't do anything in the core research content because that's your intellectual property. But at least from language perspective, we ensure that it doesn't become a barrier for you, right? And then there are some other services which I'll skip for now. Now let's come to the product demo. If you have any questions based on what I showed so far, so please feel free to put that into the chat window so that once the session is over, we can address that. So before I go to the demo, I will give a very quick recap of these 6 problems which we spoke about, because it is in this context that I'll be showing you the demo. So now I am in AuthorCafe, and sorry, I will be skipping some of the very basic steps like creating an account and signing in, just in the interest of time. So I am in AuthorCafe platform right now, and as you can notice that I'm in Chrome browser, which means it's the product which you can access from anywhere in the world. All what you need is a internet connection and a browser, right? It's a cloud-based product. This is the AuthorCafe dashboard, and this shows me some of the reports which I had created. So we'll come back to this after some time. First, I'll show you how the report looks like. So this is one such report which I had already written in AuthorCafe, again, just to save some time. And I'm scrolling it down just to show you that it has got the usual elements of a research report, where you see that there are text, equations, images, But you also notice that there is a video which is showing up here, and you'll notice it's a YouTube video, right? We'll come to all of that in a minute. And then it has got some tables. You'll also notice that there are some simulations here, which is generally you'll not see in research reports, right? And then at the bottom, you have references, which is something you're familiar with, glossary, source, and so on and so forth, right? So the reason why I showed you, I wanted to give a very quick overview of all of that is that AuthorCafe is built specifically for academic content or research content. So unlike MS Word or Google Docs, which is a generic writing platform, it's a platform which has been built to cater to your specific needs as a researcher. And now let's see what are the things which make it very, very specific for your needs. So I will create a new project. I'm giving it a name. I'm mentioning open as mine, and I'll say create. So these two information have already come. Now what I'll do is even before I start doing my writing, right? And here the way we do writing, it's just like Google Docs, okay? The way we do generally in any other platform. So those parts are common, so I'm not going to get into details of that. What I'm going to show you is the problem of content organization. How do we solve that? So AuthorCafe has got a module called as Asset. This is Asset Manager, and what it does is it allows you to keep all your files in one place, bring all your files in one place. Let's see how. So I'm going to import a file from my local laptop, and you see these are all the formats which it supports, basically a Word document, a table, images, and so on and so forth. So what I'll do is, let's say these are the two files which I'll import here. And this was an image, this was a Word file. Okay, so let's look at the Word file first. So this file came, and you can think of it like a Google Drive. So it's your personal space, and you can see a quick preview of this document as well here. And if you're happy that this is the document which you wanted to use, and then you just click on this button, push to paper, and you see a whole of that content along with images and the style, everything has come here while you were writing. And then if you want, you can make further edits to that as well. Yeah. Likewise, there was an image which we saw. So again, while I'm doing the writing, and if I want to use this image, I just click on this button and this image comes and sits here. Now, how does it help? It helps you in keeping all of your files together. So even when you have not started writing, right? When you were not begun writing, all you can do is you can just start dumping all of the files here in your Asset Manager section, so that you don't lose, or you don't have to keep it all together or rush for getting it and collecting it when the need be. It can all be in one place. You can use it whenever you want. Not just that. Let's say that you had written some other projects in AuthorCafe in the past. So this, I went to Other Projects tab, and you see that these are the other reports I had written in the past, and I can see what are the files I had used here. So let's say this was one such file. So even this, if I want, I can use it in my current project. So this basically keeps all your file in one place, and it helps you use or reuse in the manner you want. And then you can search the file and so on and so forth, right? So that's one part of the assets which we looked at. The second very important part of an asset or your files are references, right? So AuthorCafe is integrated with products like Mendeley and Zotero. Mendeley, Sangeeth is going to talk about in the next session, so I'll not get into details of it, but I just wanted to highlight that Mendeley is a wonderful tool to bring all your references together, and all of those references can be in your private library. But when you start writing your research, then you can import your references from Mendeley into AuthorCafe environment, and then you can start citing it, which I'll show you in a bit. So all what you need to do is you click on this, and you have to just sign it with your Mendeley account, and it would bring all your references here into AuthorCafe environment like a BibTeX file, as you see here, Mendeley file. Okay. So since Sangeeth is going to show, I will not get into details of that. There are other ways how you can bring in references. You can also bring in from public libraries like Crossref, PubMed, if you know the DOI, or if you want to add it manually, which means, let's say, let me bring some reference from Crossref. So since it's a public library, so I have given a keyword and I'm searching. Let's say this is one reference which seems interesting to me. I can cross check whether this was the reference I was looking for. So while this opens up, yeah, let's say that this was the reference I was looking for. And then I say, add it to my reference manager. Okay, so let me very quickly add few references here to the reference manager. Okay, so now you will see that here under references tab, I have 3 references got added. And it also tells me I've not cited any, and that's why 3 are uncited yet, right? So while I'm doing my writing, then I can cite that as well. Now I have all my files here, I have all my references here, and I keep doing writing. So let me go to the other tab where I already have some text. I opened a fresh project just to show to you the how asset manager works. Now I'm showing you the citation, how that citation works. Let's say this is one reference, and while I'm writing, I want to cite this reference. So you see this gets cited here, right? Now, when we also spoke about formatting, right? Now, I also said formatting has got multiple connotations. So references are very important part, how you cite your references. So AuthorCafe also allows you to cite it in different style. If you want to cite it with name and date. So let's say if I select that, you see this, the citation style gets changed. If I want to change it to another style, this gets changed again, right? So you don't have to worry about these citation styles. You just have to bring in all your references, keep citing those. And once you have cited those references, at the bottom, it also creates the reference list for you automatically. And this is something which you can't edit, so that it reduces the possibility of human error. So this way, right from bringing in references to citing it and all of the reference style, everything gets taken care of. And AuthorCafe also takes care of different citation styles like AMA, PA, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we spoke about content organization. We partially spoke about formatting as well. So I have brought in my assets. I have brought in my references. I started doing my writing here, right? Or if I had my content outside, I pushed into my editor and then I made further edits. Now, second part was collaboration. I want to collaborate with someone and I want them to look at it, either add to it or maybe just review it. So for that, I just need, I'll click on this invite. All I need is my collaborator's email ID. And then if I want to send them a message, and I just invite them. And here you see that there are 2 ways how I can invite a person. Either I can give them read and write permission, or because it's my content, I should have full control on it. I'll just say read and chat, which means that they can view my content, but they can't edit it. So this has got a chat feature as well. And there are 7 collaborators here. Let's say there's only one person and I know this person is offline, but still I can leave a message for him, right? So whenever that person comes back, they can see, or if both or more than 2 people are online, while you're looking at the content, you can have a chat conversation. So one of the key thing in AuthorCafe is all what you do, whether you bring in your files, where you're bringing in references, you're doing a chat conversation, you never lose sight of your core content, because it's the content which is the hero, which is the prime focus, right? So you should never lose the focus of it. And that's how the communication becomes very, very effective. Not just that, let's say that it's a long document and multiple people are looking at multiple places. So to bring their attention, you can place this blue dot and just say here. And when you click here, to the other person, they see this message as see this point. And what would happen is when they click on this see this point, you see arrows taken here, right? So this way, if there are multiple people, you can draw their attention to a specific point within the whole report as well. So these are again the small bits, how it makes the communication very, very effective. Then within chat, you can filter it by time, you can filter it by user. If there are more people, you can download the whole chat chat transcript. You can search within the chat and so on and so forth. So this is chat is one way of collaboration. The other way of collaboration is, which in the interest of time, I'll not show in detail, but if there are multiple people, we can do the co-editing as well. And as you can see here, somebody else had deleted this part, right? So with just simple use of colors, we indicate what is my content, what is my collaborator's content. So here somebody else had deleted my content, so it shows up here. If the other person adds to my content, that would appear in blue color, right? So in one quick glance, I can understand my write-up is in black, my collaborator's content is in blue, anything which they have deleted is in red, right? And since there are more than one person here, so you may also struggle who did what, right? Who added the content and all of that. So there is a history section here which keeps a complete log of who did what when. So in this case, I think it's primarily me. So when did I insert a table with the timestamp and all of further details? So this is where I had inserted this table. So it also takes me to that specific section. So likewise, if you have multiple people, then it will give you all of that information. Okay. So, and again, you can filter it by users, which person did what action. Right? So this way, the collaboration becomes very, very easy. Not just that, especially with your supervisors, it's possible that they may not come for a chat conversation with you. They're very busy people. So in that case, you can just share this report with them. And when they come in, they can just select a piece of text if they have to give a review comment, and they just say, they can give a review comment here. If they want to add, they can add some files to this. They can add images to this. All of that is possible. And when you come in as a researcher, so you just come in here, and then all of the comments which have been given, you can go to those comments. It takes you to those specific comment, and it also tells you against which specific context the comment has been given. When you are adding a comment, you can also send it as an email. You can select which collaborator should get this comment. Maybe not every comment is relevant for everyone. And in a more formal workflow setup, instead of these buttons, you may also have respond and resolve kind of thing, which means once your guide has given a comment, then as a scholar, you can respond to that, and then your guide can resolve that comment saying, okay, this has been addressed, so that it moves further. So these are some of the ways how you can do the collaboration. So these were the relatively usual ways. Now let's look at another way how you can do collaboration. Now, text, we saw how people can easily edit it, people can give comments. But what happens if there is a video? What happens if there is or let me first begin with an image. What happens when there is an image? Now, let's assume that it's a complex image and your guide wants to change a particular part here, right? All what they need to do is they will just place the blue dot here. So likewise, they give you multiple comments. Now, when you as a scholar, when you look at it, the comment which has been given, you come to this image. And when you click on this, you see it actually tells you where exactly this comment is, right? And what that comment is. So this is how the collaboration becomes very, very easy. Either you want to give a review comment, you want to highlight something, this becomes very, very effective. Now, that's one benefit. Second benefit is when you publish this, right? And especially if you publish this electronically, then even your audience can actually engage with your image in a much more effective manner. The image, which is otherwise a static thing, which people can only read, but in this way, people can interact with your image as well. And you can highlight these specific parts which you want them to look at. Okay, so this was one interesting thing which I wanted to show you. Now let me show you, I had shown you the videos, right? So let's see how you can bring in videos. And we know today video is becoming more and more important and interesting way to communicate your ideas and thoughts, right? And people actually prefer to watch video over reading long content. So how do we bring in the video? Let's say insert video. You don't have to upload heavy files. You can upload your videos on YouTube if you want to keep it private. And from there, you just need to copy this one line code and just paste it here. That's it. And your video comes and sits in here. Okay. And now you can actually communicate your ideas very effectively through video, regardless of how long the video is. Even if it's a 3-hour long video, doesn't matter, because it's sitting in YouTube. We are only playing it through this interface. Okay. Now, I showed you how in image you can add those markers to communicate your ideas effectively for collaboration perspective and also for your end readers. Let's see how we can do that in video as well. Let's say this is a long video and you want to draw your guide's attention or collaborators' attention or your audience's attention on specific parts of this video. Let's say this part, right? So what I'll do is I'll add a video marker at 50. Sorry. So at 32 seconds, given one comment, and or maybe I'll add one more. Video, which is already a very engaging medium, right? But still you make it far more engaging, or you save people's time that they don't have to watch the whole video. When they click on one, they are taken to that specific point in time along with the comment. When they click on two, they're taken to that specific point in time along with the comment, right? And as I said, it serves multiple purposes. It saves time in collaboration, it saves time in doing review, and it also makes it very, very engaging for your audience. So even if they don't have full time to watch the video, they can at least go to the specific parts and watch it, right? So this was another thing I wanted to show you. Likewise, you can also bring in, like you can bring in video, you can bring in audio files as well. And also you can bring in simulations. If some of you use products like Plotly or Tableau, so you can bring in those simulations and make it part of your report so that your audience can actually interact with that data set and in a far more engaging manner. And it comes with all of the widgets of the native product. So this way, it helps you make your content very, very interactive. I'm mindful of the time as well, so I will skip some of the parts. So I will now show you how the formatting, the other part of formatting challenge, how do we solve that, right? So far we looked at how you can bring in your assets, keep it in one place, all your files, use it and reuse it, how you can manage your references, right? Then we looked at the collaboration, how collaboration can be done, how we can bring in interactive content like videos, images, simulations, and we can add markers on top of that. There's one more thing, let me show that to you, and then let's go to the formatting bit, which is we spoke about equations. So let me add equation here. So this, some of you might be familiar with if you have used any equations using MS Word. So this is like a usual operator where you can just add those expressions which you want, right? So this is a usual way. Second way, as I was saying, there's a LaTeX code, right? So especially people from maths and physics background, they use it very often. Some of you might be very familiar with it. So you can also, if you're familiar, you can use LaTeX code to insert the equation, right? Or if you want, you can make edits here as well. But what you may find more interesting is what I'll show you. Let's say that I do not know how to use those operators and LaTeX and all of that, but there's a equation which I have to use in my report. So all what I'll do is I will hand draw it here. So using my mouse, I have hand drawn this equation. And as you can see at the bottom right, it has actually picked up what I was trying to draw, right? Again, at this stage, if I want, this generates the LaTeX code as well. I can make modifications here. Let's say I'll make this to S3, and then I say insert. You see this equation comes and sits here. If I want, I can make further edits. But you see, so I don't have to know anything about equation or the tools and all of that. Whatever equation I want, I can simply hand draw it whenever there is a need. Okay. Now, So now let's see how the formatting works. So in this report, in the name of formatting, and you can see it's all like a single page, right? Which we call as HTML format. So here I just kept writing. I did not worry about page numbers or where to break page because there's no concept of page. You might have also noticed that there is no way I can change font, I can change font size, and so on and so forth, right? So in the name of formatting, the only effort I have put is I let AuthorCafe know that this was the title when I was creating the project. I let AuthorCafe know this is author's name. I let AuthorCafe know this is author affiliation through this. Okay, and at the bottom right, you will see here it says what is the style. Okay, and beyond that, I have only given the section headings by using this feature. Okay, this is the first level section heading, and likewise there are section headings, there could be subsection headings, and that's it. Beyond that, if you notice, I have not done anything here. It automatically picks up figures and video captions and gives that numbering. So auto numbering already happened, so I don't have to worry about that as well. The references in the order of citation, they were already created. I did not have to do anything. The glossary got created automatically whenever I defined a definition. I did not show that in detail, but I think I'll skip that in interest of time. And whenever I was adding a figure or a video, I was adding a source to it. So automatically it creates that list as well. So that even by mistake, you don't run the risk of plagiarizing because you have not credited something properly, right? Even by mistake. So it takes care of all of that. For example, just to show you very quickly, in this video, this is where I had added the source, okay? And that is what was showing at the bottom. Once I have done all of that, then I'll say export this project. Let's say I want to export this as a PDF. And there are some predefined templates. So depending upon your institution or requirement, there could be a template, which is like a one-time effort. So I'll select one template here and I'll say export. And it takes about half a minute to a minute, right, to format it. And that's all the time which you spend on your formatting of your document. So we will see once it appears. And meanwhile, I already had this document open here. So you may notice that this is appearing in a different style. It's broken down into pages with page numbers, headers, the usual element being here. And at the bottom, you have your references as well. And if I want, I can go back to the editor and you see this is how the content used to look like. Again, I can make some changes here. And then again, I can choose to export this. So this also I'll export, and this time I'll select a different template. So this is how the formatting works. So because this was a long document which I picked up, so it takes about a minute or so. So I'll not hold you on for it. Oh, okay. So this showed up here. So you see this was the report we were looking at. And this is the different template I picked up. And now you see that content appears in a different font, different style, right? And it has been broken down into pages as well. And the way it has been broken down into pages, there is a logic behind it. It does not do it mindlessly. In fact, it's a patented engine which does it for you, right? So for example, you see this was an image here. It did not try to crunch this image here because it made sense to show this image and its figure caption here. So all of those things over a period of time, we have fine-tuned it. And like I was saying, that it has been designed considering the academic content, and that's why it takes care of some of those nuances, right? So this is how it solves your problem of formatting by a great extent. I'll very quickly give you an example of how it's being used by Indian Academy of Science for last 4 years. So all of their summer research fellowship, every year they invite about 1,000 to 1,500 students. And since 2017, every year, so now we have about 5,000 plus reports on this platform. And all of these reports are available here. And one such report I'll just quickly show you. And you see how this format appears, right? So author name, affiliation, there are some social media handles. As a reader, you can share it. And the author did not have to spend any time on formatting it like I showed you, right? So there are images. There is a video as well here. Again, in this report, they publish along with a video. And then at the bottom, you have reference, source, and all of that. Not just that, you also have everything gets automatically linked without you having to spend any time and effort on it. So you see, it shows this reference, how many times it was cited. It takes you to those places as well. So even for a reader, their relationship with this engagement is very, very enriching, right? And it also makes your content very, very discoverable. Google picks it up very, very well, right? So this is how, and you notice it says it's been written, reviewed to publish with AuthorCafe. Okay. Now with that, I will stop my demo and I'll just bring this slide up once again to see if I have not missed any problem, which we spoke that we will look at. So content organization we looked at effective collaboration, we looked at how formatting can be done, we looked at how illustration, I think, is the part which I did not cover. I'll come to that. We looked at equations, we looked at language. So language also I covered partially, that through service you can do. The other way you can seek help of languages, that because AuthorCafe is a browser-based product, so you can actually just install a Grammarly plugin or any other product which you want to use, and you can use that while you're writing. So those things come in naturally while you're doing the writing. And when it comes to illustration, so illustration, because it's a hand-run illustration, so there are some products like BioRender and others in the market, you can explore those. But especially for medicine sciences, we see that those guys have a very complex need. So we offer this as a service where we have some artists who work for global publishers. So they actually give shape to your illustrations, or they create animations based on your specific need. But again, this is one part where technology has its limitations. But beyond that, these were the problems I wanted to show you. How do we solve with AuthorCafe? So with that, I will call my demo a close and I will open up for any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Neelanjan. So that was wonderful. I also saw some questions posted. So they were like, is AuthorCafe a free tool? How about the security of our content?
Oh, that's a great question, and I'm often asked about it. So first, let me pick the most important part, the security of the content. So we understand, like I said, right, that this has been specially designed for academic or research content. So we know that everything what comes in AuthorCafe is intellectual property. And that is why we take data security and privacy very, very seriously. And it's data security and privacy is not just from technology perspective, but even there is a human element to it. So in fact, we work with one of our biggest customers is Elsevier. So we know how to handle all of that content. So yes, we take care of all of that and we are mindful of it. The second part was, is it a free tool? Yes, it's a free tool for an individual academic researcher. And because the free version has, of course, got its some limitations, but when an institution adopts it, then the benefits are far wider, that you can use it for your PhD program management, formatting, you can have your institutional repository. But the key problems which I showed today, with the free version, you can still avail all of those benefits.
All right, so concerning the security, is the user also can do a level of security, parameters. Can they define that security parameter? So the level of security that the other users can access their content.
Yes, so with regards to the content, it's in your hand. So like I was showing that you can define whom do you invite as a collaborator, what permissions, like do they have read and write permission, or you just would restrict that reading permission to them. So those are the controls which are in your hand. Or even if you have invited somebody as a collaborator later, if you don't want them to keep having access to your report, you can revoke the access as well. So yes, those are the ways how you can have control on your content from security aspect.
Yeah, and one question is about, can we download the paper from AuthorCafe? So I don't know whether this question is about their paper or someone else's paper. So I think you can cover both in different aspects, like whether they can actually download their paper, and also if someone wants to share a paper to someone else, and if they can also be able to download it. So you can address both.
Sure. Yeah. So on the first part, yes, of course, you can download your own paper, whatever you have written in AuthorCafe. Like I showed you how you can export it in PDF format, you can also export in a Word document format. So whatever you bring it into AuthorCafe, you can always take it out. So that's the first part. Second is, do you want to share files with each other? So the asset manager, which I showed, as long as you are willing to share it with other person, you can definitely share through that mode. But again, you have the complete control which specific files you want to share with others.
Okay. So which formats we can save our paper? PDF, HTML, Word, and do you have more formats as well?
So I think for an individual researcher perspective, these formats are the most relevant. PDF, in fact, PDF and Word are the most relevant format. HTML format is only relevant when your institution has a repository and they want to put up your report on the web so that it's browser friendly. But yes, those three formats are available. The other two formats are zip format, like basically all your files, you can export it in a zip format as well. Fifth format is XML. So XML is more publisher friendly format. It's available to an individual researcher, but I'm not sure if that would be relevant for them. So all these five formats are technically available to individual.
Yeah, okay. And is there a plagiarism checker available in AuthorCafe? So that was one question from Vanilla.
Right. Yeah, that's another very common question. So no, plagiarism check is not available with AuthorCafe, and it's for a deliberate reason, because institutions have different preferences for a plagiarism tool. So when we work with institutions, we ask them that whatever tool you have, we can integrate with AuthorCafe. So technically it's possible if your institution wants to give a permission to their students that they can use the plagiarism tool while they're using AuthorCafe.
Okay, so I don't know whether this question is actually related to you or in general in terms of research. What kind of questions should qualitative research start with? Maybe from an ideation perspective.
Yeah, I think this is a question which is more suited for a subject matter expert.
Right.
So yeah. So I will.
I think the most of the things was covered in the yesterday's session, so you can go through the video again. If you have some questions, you can drop comments. So, and does it include automatic grammar check in the AuthorCafe?
Yes. So if you are a user of a Grammarly or any other tool, you can very easily just install a browser extension, and then AuthorCafe works very well with that. So it does the grammar check for you. Okay. Although we are also working on a module where some of the scientific terms which are not covered by Grammarly, so it tries to correct the spelling on that. But I think it would come soon. Maybe you'll have to just keep watching AuthorCafe for that.
Right. And the last question is about how to paste something in AuthorCafe in terms of like when I can copy anything from a desktop, or is there a restriction there?
No, when you say anything, I'm assuming you are bringing in either a file or maybe a content. So file, there are certain formats which AuthorCafe allows, which are the open formats. Like you can bring in a Word document, you can bring in a Notepad document, you can bring in Excel file. There are 3-4 formats of images like JPG, PMP, PNG. So you can bring in all of those files within AuthorCafe. You can also bring in a PDF file, but PDF you cannot bring into editor because PDF does not allow that. So that's one way how you can bring in content. If you're just doing a copy paste of a text or an image, that also you can do it within the editor. The only thing which you cannot do is if you're bringing in an equation through copy paste, because again, there are some technical limitations to that by design. That's why equation does not allow for it to be copy pasted. And that's where we recommend that either you bring it as an image or you create that equation natively in AuthorCafe, which we showed is very easy to create.
All right. And also, is there a conversion? Like if I want to change to different versions, like a format of image, can I do it with AuthorCafe?
No, you can't change the format of image.
Okay. So, and one question is about how to include illustrations. Maybe it's also referring to annotation, I believe.
Right. So how to include illustrations? So I'm not sure of this question completely. If the illustration is in form of an image file already with you, whether it's a JPG file, PNG, or BMP, then you can just either copy paste within the editor directly, or you can bring it through Asset Manager. That's one way. If your question is that if you have a hand-drawn sketch and how you can convert into illustration, so you can use a product like BioRender. BioRender is one product which I know. Or if you want some services, you can contact us using contact@AuthorCafe, where we can actually convert that into proper sketches or more professional illustration for you.
All right. So how many times can I download or export a document from AuthorCafe?
There are no restrictions.
Okay.
We don't place any restriction for researchers.
Okay. That is an interesting question. So how it is superior to MS Word? So how can you compare MS Word with AuthorCafe? I think this is more relevant question.
Yeah. Slightly, I will leave it to the judgment of the audience also today, because we showed what are the specific parts of AuthorCafe, right? Which I think it's obvious that MS Word does not have. And I would not say that AuthorCafe is superior to MS Word. It would be like comparing apple and orange. I would say when it comes to research writing, right, or academic writing, then AuthorCafe is more suitable platform than MS Word. But MS Word is a far more older product, far more mature product when it comes to other purposes. It has got a lot of features which AuthorCafe does not have. But as a researcher, I would say AuthorCafe solves some of the problem which will not be solved by MS Word. Like, for example, MS Word does not allow you to store your files in one place. It may not allow you to handle references in all of the manners in which we showed. In some manners, it does do that. It will not allow you to do the formatting how I showed. You can't do auto formatting with MS Word. In MS Word, you have to worry about every different pages. You have to take care of formatting. So these are the ways how I would say AuthorCafe solves your problem much better than MS Word in this context. But by no way I would say AuthorCafe is superior to MS Word.
I think that the assets management is something that is more unique to the AuthorCafe when compared to the MS Word, where you just place that on the MS Word. But if you are talking about AuthorCafe, so you can actually manage that well, like an assets, right? So like images, pictures, diagrams, and formats. Yeah. Right. All right. And last question. I'm also getting a lot of questions. So the question is about: can I use an Android phone? Android devices. Will AuthorCafe work in Android devices?
So because it's a writing tool right now, we only allow browsers. You can use it from browsers and your desktop browser or laptop browsers, not from mobile phone. From mobile phone, once your report is published, you can view that, but not the editing, because editing experience will not be, and especially it's academic content, right? It's not a casual content. So that is why we place the restriction that you don't use it from your mobile phone.
Okay. And the other question is related to, do you think AuthorCafe will be able to compete machine learning in the near future? So are you going to integrate some machine learning with the AuthorCafe in the future?
Oh, yes, absolutely. In fact, the formatting bit, which I showed you, how it breaks the long content into pages, right? And still keeping the sanity of the content intact. That actually is using machine learning algorithm, because we have run through thousands of research papers, and now that's how machine knows where to break an equation, where to break an image, where to break a text. So that's one way we're already using machine learning. But yes, there are some other avenues where we are looking at how machine learning can make your life as a researcher even better.
Okay, so this will be the last question, and Neelanjan will only stay until this. So I'll just ask this last question. So what is the maximum file size of each document, or any maximum character restrictions that you have in the AuthorCafe?
Okay, yeah. So the maximum restriction is of 200 MB for any file to bring it in, because you don't have to bring in video, you don't have to bring in audio files. An image, I don't think a single file will be more than 200 MB. So that's the maximum restriction which we give for individual file. In total, in free version, you can store up to 2 GB of your data.
Yeah, I think about the word count. Do you have the functionality to show word count?
Yes, we show word count. While you're writing, you can, at the bottom, you can see the word count.
I don't know. I don't understand this question. While publishing article, video, and some other images is included or not? Yeah, that's up to your researcher to add it, right? So if you want to have the video or article, it depends upon the journal that you choose and publish. So you can, the AuthorCafe supports everything that you want to do for a submission. Yeah, maybe Neelanjan, you can also add.
No, I think you already covered it, Sangeeth. So yes, you're right. It depends on the individual. If I understand, if your question was that if you had inserted a video and if you export it as a PDF file, what would happen to that video? So in that case, it's the video snapshot which would appear, right? But when you are submitting it digitally, then you can also submit the video along with it.
Yeah, there's also a trend like a video journal. So you can also put your abstract in video and also the materials in video as well. So are you giving any training for journal editing? Do you have such services?
Journal
editing survey, yeah, how to edit a journal or how to edit an article. So maybe copy editing, for example.
Right. So language editing, we do some workshops like we had done with some other institutions in some time back. So yes, we do some workshops like that. So if the institution, not for an individual, but for an institution, yes, we do that. So if there's a request, we can certainly do.
All right, so I think we answered all the questions. Thank you very much, Neelanjan. So I'll
Sangeeth, if I may request, just for a couple of minutes, I wanted just feedback from the students. So if I can just flash my screen and I can request them to fill that up, even as the session goes on, people don't have to wait for it, but I'll just share the screen. So this is the URL. I'm not sure if I have access to the chat window.
Yes,
can I paste it?
Yes, you have access. Yeah, you can paste it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. So I would request if the students can give, and this is the feedback for the product, what they liked, what they did not like. How do I access? I'm not sure. If
in the Zoom, Zoom chat.
It's not showing for me.
It's there in the 20 chat.
Okay. Yes. There it is. Sorry. Yeah, so I would request each one of you to please, if they're simple 3 questions, only 2 are mandatory, 3rd is optional. Very simple. You can give one-liner answer, what you liked about AuthorCafe, what you would want us to add more to it. And I would also request that you sign up to authorcafe.com. Like I said, it's a free product for individual researchers. You can go to authorcafe.com, sign up. And if you have any feedback, any questions, please feel free to write to us on contact@authorcafe.com. So I'll leave both of these URLs in the chat window. And thank you once again, everybody, for your time and attention. I hope it was worth your time. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Cecil.
Yes. So yeah, thank you very much, Neelanjan, for accepting in a very short notice, and then it is a very useful session as well. So I'm giving back to Akila, Dr. Akila, for the next session.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with the knowledge on the publication support services. And it made us to understand about the content organization, collaboration and review, formatting, equations, and language. Thank you once again, sir. And we are entering into the last session of the workshop. Referencing is an important part of academic work. It puts our work in context, demonstrates the breadth and depth of our research. We are having Mr. Sangeeth Cecil to explain us about a free reference manager that can help us to collect references and organize our citations. Mr. Sangeeth Cecil is working for Elsevier since 2009, and he is the product manager for the Scopus Author Feedback Wizard. He helps the authors to stay up to date with their Scopus author profiles. He is a passionate Mendeley advisor and started the Indian Mendeley Advisors Group to promote Mendeley and connect the Indian author to international research. And the session is over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Akila, and I want to thank the principal and Dr. Setu sir and Dr. Satyanarayanan and Dr. Tilagam ma'am, and also you for organizing such a wonderful workshop. And coming to the last session, I'm very glad that I can present and also comprehend all the questions that we have. So we were able to answer all your questions. So before I can go into the Mandalay slides, There was a lot of questions about downloading the certificate. Maybe I can touch upon that first, so that you'll be in a peace of mind, so that you can get the certificate. The people who have already registered might have got the update email from the Researcher Academy to download your certificate. I'll just quickly share my screen and then show you how to do that. Yeah, can you see my screen? Akila ma'am, can you see my screen?
It's visible.
Okay, so we have pasted you with this instruction. So how to claim your certificate. So first you need to go to this particular link, and then you have to use this code. So that if you're already registered, you will go sign in already. So you can enter your password, and if you're not signed in, you need to sign in again. And then you can just fill out a survey, and then you can download the certificate. So in this place, you will have a code. So you have to enter the code. In this case, I've already registered, so, and also entered the code, so I'm getting this option. So if you're going for the first time, you will be asked to enter the code. So when you enter the code, you will get the survey to fill in, and then after the end of the survey, you need to refresh the screen so that you will find this download certificate here, and then make sure that it has the Pachaiyappa's logo and also Elsevier logo on the top. All right. So this particular instruction is pasted in all the WhatsApp group, so you can actually refer to it. So if you still have any questions, you can drop in the Q&A session. I'll try to address at the end. All right, so let me go to the Mendeley reference management. So before I want to introduce Mendeley to everyone, so I would just want to talk about the reference manager. So what is a reference manager? So why we need a reference? So as you know, as also Dr. Setu has pointed out in the beginning of the session, for any research, I think reference is very important, whether you're doing an MSc or project, or you're doing a PhD, or even a postdoc, or you're continuing doing a researcher as a professor or lecturer. So you need to have the reference. So you need to go through a lot of reference to have it work for you. So if you have an idea, then you want to find a gap, or you want to solve a problem, then you need to do a lot of search of literature, and also you need to store that in your computer. So reference management is also known as a review of literature, and then you download and manage it. So reference manager is systematic process of organizing the search literature so that it's easily retrievable and citable. So there are two purposes to a reference. So you need to easily search and find that if you already read that paper, and also it should be citable. So when you're writing a paper, or when you're writing a dissertation or thesis, then it should be useful for you to actually cite it in the in your paper. So what are the fundamental things that you do? Why do we need a reference management? A reference management as a software. And first we need to understand what are the activities that we do for a research. So first we search the literature, like we go to Google and then search for a topic, or we use Scopus or use PubMed. So use different journal so to get the articles that you want to read. And then you find it some article or interesting, then you download it in your computer. Maybe you use your download option, or use a specific folder to download that particular research paper in your computer. And then the third thing, then you need to manage it. So you need to say this particular 5 topics that I've downloaded now is for this paper, or this is for a project that I'm working on, a DST project I'm working on. So this is for a review paper I'm going to write. So you need to manage those reference in your computer. And then at the final part, where Mendeley is giving you more options to do, is writing. So when you're writing, you can actually use it for a citation. And also you use it as a bibliography at the end of the article. I just want to introduce few terminologies. So what is citation and references? So citation, so acknowledging the original source. So why you need a citation. So you read something about, you read an article related to your topic that you're working on, and then you are saying that I read it there. So then you have to have that reference or linking with each other. So that's like you're acknowledging always the original source, and then you're solving a problem here. And citation and reference indicate the source of information and provide description of the source. So you need to indicate the source first, and then also you need to give the description of the source. So where you took from, what journal, what page number, what is that article title, etc. So why reference is very important. So first, it will validate and support your research. So if you have a reference, so first you have got an idea. I think it's a pillar of any research. So you need to have a proper review done before you start a project. Otherwise, you might be end up in doing a repetition of work. And increase knowledge in your area of research. So you continually read articles and understand new concepts. So you will continue store information in your computer, and also help readers to find the original source. And when you're writing a paper, this is very important that you acknowledge the original source, plus you also direct the readers to the original source as well. And like I already said, to avoid the repetition and plagiarism. And two terminologies I want to introduce. So what is in-text citation? So in-text citation is something that you give inside the paper. For example, in introduction, you say number 1, and then you indicate that reference at the bibliography at the end. So that's when you say number 1, or in the arts and humanities, so you say the name and et al. And year, which means that's a kind of a format where arts and humanities use. So that's also one of the way that you indicate the in-text citation. So there are different formats for that. So you either use number or text or author and date. So that depends upon different journals. And bibliography or references also, it is also specific to the journal that you submit, or a thesis that you write. For example, you're writing a thesis on University of Madras, to University of Madras, then you have to follow a specific bibliographic pattern that you have to follow at the end. So the main difference is the in-text citation, what you say on inside the text, and the bibliography or reference is what you say at the end. So you indicate the source of the information. So these are the examples. So there are commonly 3 major styles, like where you see like number style, that's very common, where we use Vancouver is the popular example for that format. And IEEE, maybe you're from engineering background, so you use a lot of IEEE. And AIP is also using this numbered format, so where you have number in box, a number as a superscript, number as a hyphen, etc. And author and date, so this is mostly used in the arts and humanities area. So when you can see on the right hand side top, so Baker et al. At 2011. So this is one of the format of in-text citation. So on the left hand side, it says the number. So 1, 2, so you have to give 2 reference at the end. And footnote is the Chicago style that not commonly used, but mostly number and author and date is commonly predominantly used in the research paper. So in order to say what is the components of the references, so you have the author names, and you have the title, so you have the journal names, year, and also volume and issue, and also page. So this is how you acknowledge the original source. So but in order to write these author, title, journal name, year, volume, and page number, so you had to go through the journal guidelines that you are submitting, or a thesis guideline that you have to follow. So how Mendeley help in this area? So I'm going to talk about in detail. So I'm not going to show any demo. So this is an orientation session. So you have to explore Mendeley by yourself, and then we can connect to you later if you have any problem. So there's always a support at the Mendeley. So Mendeley is the open platform. So it's a free to use and designed for the researchers to use. And it works on Windows, Mac, Linux, and also all major browsers. So you can have both the versions, like a desktop and the web version. So it's completely free. So when you go to the Mendeley.com, the first step, in order to access the Mendeley, either desktop or the web version, so you have to actually sign in to the Mendeley. So you need to create an account. So it's just like a normal account creation at Google or like a LinkedIn. So you just put your name, your information there, and then email, and then account will be created. So email is one of the mandatory, name and email. So you have to create a first you have to create a free account. And then if you want to install a desktop version, it's very easy. So you can do like a 3-step process to install a Mendeley desktop in your computer. So we will be sharing the slide. So you can use this link to download the desktop version. And then after you install the desktop version, so you should also install 2 things that's very important for the reference manager. So one is the Mendeley Web Importer, and the second thing is the Microsoft Word plugin. So if you're a Microsoft Word user and you only use that as for your any research, I think this will be the best tool for you. So how Mendeley helps, so when you're searching information, when you're doing a review of literature from a website, so you search different articles and you search different articles and different repository to get the content. So you download it in your computer, and then how Mendeley helps is like you, instead of downloading into the computer, so it will be shared in a cloud. So you can download at anywhere and then put it in your cloud, and then you can access it from your desktop or from a browser or even from your mobile with the web browser on the go. So you don't have to worry about going to your lab computer to read all the articles that you have downloaded there. So how to use Mendeley? So when you look at the Mendeley, if you're an Outlook user, it is a similar view of an Outlook. So on the center pane, you see all the documents that you downloaded. So you can have all the downloaded document on the center pane, and on the right, when you click on any document on the right hand side, it will tell you about the details of that, like also the abstract and also the keywords. And on the left side, you have different options like your computer, like all document, recently added, recently read, etc. So this is the pretty much view of a Mendeley desktop. And also the web version will also look the same. It is no different. Only the Outlook is kind of a different compared to the desktop. So first, in order to start your research, or in order to start the review of literature with Mendeley, first you need to set up a folder structure. For example, if you're working on a PhD and then 3 chapters, first you create a PhD folder, and then you put subfolders like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and then when you search on the documents on the web or related research articles, then you can store it in your so you can actually sort it in the beginning of your research, like I will be using this for chapter 1, I'll be using this for chapter 2, then you can drop that into the specific chapter. So you can add files, you can add a folder that you already have in your computer that you already stored so many research articles. And then there's a cool feature about watch folder I will be talking about in the next slide. And then you can also do a manual entry. If you know the link already, you can also enter it manually. If you're using another a reference manager like Zotero, or you are having like a EndNote, or you have a list of files at the BibTeX if you have an institutional access. Then you can also import those references in the Mendeley so that you can access it anywhere. So it will be one repository for all your references that you searched for a project or research. So the watch folder is something very important. So if you have a folder already in your computer, then you install the Mendeley desktop. So what you can do is add that particular folder as a watch folder. So that is the folder that you use to download all the research article normally. So you can, whenever that you add a new article to that folder, the Mendeley will automatically pick those articles in the reference manager. So adding a file is also very easy. So you can just drag and drop into the Mendeley desktop or web, or you can also add, click on the file and add file, and then browse through your computer and add all the files that you have in your computer. So this, I already spoke about the watch folder. Yeah, this is very important thing. So when you, so you need to, like I said, like when you install the desktop, you should also install the Mendeley Web Importer. So when you're searching a document on the web, so the Mendeley Web Importer will help you to guide you through like this. If I open up a PDF from a website, so for example, this is an Elsevier article, so I've opened here, and then it will show me, when I click on the Mendeley icon on the top, it will give me an option to select this article and then add it to your library straight away. So you don't have to download and then send it to your Mendeley desktop. So it will be automatically added, and then it is also added to your cloud directly. So you don't have to worry about adding it every time that you're adding any document. It will be very easy for you to just add from the website. And also the most important thing about the adding from the website, if you're open up like 10 or 20 articles, so when you hit the Mendeley, it will show all the 20 articles. Then you can select and deselect which one you want and which one you don't want by like clicking on the select button, and then you can add it to your library right away. So that's one of the cool feature that we have. And then, for example, if you're having Mendeley at your college, like institution or research laboratory, and you have a Mendeley at your home in your personal PC. So this is the one thing that you need to do. You need to always sync the option when you download from your PC from your research laboratory, and then you need to always sync so that it will be synced to the cloud. When you go to your home, you can also see that in your own computer. So you need to sync every time when you want to see it in both the places. So managing your library. So this should be done in initial part of your research. So you need to manage it well. Otherwise, you'll find it very difficult at the end. Like I said, PhD, you need to put the chapter 1 and 2 and 3. If you're working on a DST project, you put the project name and also the ideation phase, which phase you are in and what review you took so far. You can actually put that inside the folder. For example, in this case, so you're working on 5 paper, and then you can put 5 paper as a topic or a folder name. You can add it to that and then add those references in that folder. So that will give you a specific search. So the reason that we are doing all this in one place is that to have manage it very well, so you can search and get that content easily when you want to read or write an article. So like I said, like you have all documents, you can also mark as favorites. Sometimes you want to read or refer it so many times, and then you want to, and then there is an option like a green icon which says like you can also download. So the read and unread, so you have the PDF to download. So if you already read, it will be like green, and if you're not read, then it will not be green. So there are a lot of indications here. So you can explore these features when you download the Mendeley desktop. So this is what I'm talking about, the folder structure. So unsorted. So all the files that is added in the Mendeley will be in unsorted. So you need to do housekeeping to make sure that you drag and drop to the specific folder on the references that you stored, so that you will be useful. It will be useful when you write the research, or it will also be useful when you search that from your computer. And the searching is very efficient. So it will not only search on the reference title and abstract, it will also search inside the PDF. So it will search inside your folders. It will search everywhere to get the relevant content that you're looking for. And alternatively, you can also give a specific code when you hit the when you hit the article, and then there is a tags where if you want to say that this is for my project A, then you can give the tag as project A. Or if you're working on fluid dynamics for the example in this picture, you can give fluid dynamics for all the papers that you want to add to that particular project or particular topic that you're researching on. So that's a very easy. So it will help you to search on that specific topic to get that in. So And this is one of the cool feature that we have in Mendeley, where you want to search relevant articles. So if you find 3 articles are very relevant to a specific topic, and then you can do a related document search, and this will completely search on all the Mendeley repositories, which is it's also search on the other users who have stored in their text in their cloud as well. So it will give you more relevance of a search, so that you can use those document also to it. So this is one way of checking things, that whether you missed anything in that part of the research or not. You can check by searching with the relevant documents. So, and this is one of the problem that we normally have when you're storing a lot of when you read a conference paper, and that is eventually published in a research article in some other journal. So you'll end up in saving twice the same article. So the Mendeley have check for duplicate option, where you will minimize that risk, and then it will remove all the duplicates that's there in your desktop. So you will only have the refined articles, so that you can read it easily and also search it easily. So in order to not waste your time, for example, in your desktop, you will end up in saving like -1, -2, and -3, the same article, and it will be very hard for you to do a housekeeping there, but it's very easy in Mendeley to do it. So this is also one of the cool feature. So you can also do an annotation like this. So if you're reading, you can open a PDF inside the Mendeley, and also you can do an annotation. Like you can, for example, if you are having a PDF reader, it will be tough to do an annotation rather than an edit PDF. But here you can do. You can have notes, highlight your comments. You can also share with the peers that if they are already in Mendeley, you can also ask them to put their comments. So for example, if you want to say, I feel this article is more relevant for my paper, you can send it to your guide and ask for what do you think. Then he might also put his comment there. So you can also use for the communication, especially what paragraph that you're talking about. So this will help you to do that. So the last part of the Mendeley, which is very useful, is the when you're writing a paper. So in the beginning of this presentation, I was talking about the different styles and formatting. So when you want to insert the in-text citation, so it will help in both the ways. So you can insert the in-text citation based on the reference that you stored in the Mendeley. So if you have a lot of references stored in the Mendeley, you can actually get that from the Mendeley and insert it into your MS Word. So Microsoft Word, when you're writing a paper, you've written an introduction. For example, you say the global warming, the temperature has risen a lot since 2014, and then you know that it was researched by Fright and Knights, and then you have to just search. You have to hit the button in the Mendeley. And then in your Word document, so the first screen you see in the top is from the Word document. You will have a section called references, and in the references you will see all the options of Mendeley, and then you say like so you choose the style and then insert citation. When you click this button, so you will get this box, and then you can just search on the relevant paper that you want to see. So for example, in this article, it was talking about air temperature and winter mortality. So you have written something on the introduction about this, and then you can just keep your cursor there and then insert the citation and search and insert there. So it will come like this. So this is an in-text citation. If you're using a number format, it will come as number 1, number 2, etc. So after you do all the writing part or the in-text citation part, you don't have to copy every time the references, but lastly, you need to just do insert bibliography in the reference section. It will insert all the bibliography that is in order. So for example, if for the reference, it will take us 1, and if you referred on the second para of the, if you referred in the introduction in the first para, it will take it as 1, and in the second para, it will take us 2. So it will just define that order, how you're defining it in the paper, and then when you insert the bibliography, it will be aligned to to the in-text and also the reference. So when you click on the link on the in-text, it will direct you to the right reference on the bottom. So that's how it will be helpful. So you have a proper reference manager, and then you have a proper documents in the Mendeley cloud, and then that will help you to write when you're writing a research paper. It will help you to write that research paper. And this is something that I want to talk about. So every journal, like I said, every journal demand a specific format that you have to insert as an in-text citation and also for the references. So in this case, we have all the styles that's predominantly used on the list. And if you want to use more styles, you can also click on the more styles, and you can also find specific journals that you are going to submit. If those styles are not available, then you can also download it from cls.mendeley.com, where you can find all the different styles. And if you still don't find a style of your journal that you're trying to submit, you can also use the blog to create one. There will be someone who was already created that particular style. You can insert to your Word document later. So you can install and add it to your Word document, and that will come up in the list that I shown here. So this is one of the important things. So you don't have to worry about the style and the writing and also the in-text citation styles. You can also choose in terms of journal, but if your journal is if it is following some specific IEEE norms, or then you can just choose that style directly. Yeah, it's up to you how you want to do, but we have all the options to use, and you can explore it very well. So this is all about the Mendeley. So Mendeley is to summarize, it's very useful for you to manage a search. So when you're searching it, you can just download in your cloud, so you don't have to worry about saving in your computer, and then you can just download. So search, and then you can also manage it from your Mendeley. And also the last thing, when you're writing a paper, it will also use you to write. So you can just go to the mendeley.com, and then you can download the version. I've also included that website in the slide when I share with you. You can also check that. Okay, thank you very much. I think this is about this Mendeley. So I will straight away go to the Q&A session. So I see I see a few questions has come up, and let me try to say how Mendeley is trust on cloud storage, how secrecy is maintained. I think it's the same question. So the level of access is actually given by you. So when you want to share a particular annotation or a paper, so the paper that is stored in Mendeley is actually in the cloud, and mostly you will have the documents that's already published. So this is not something that you're writing now and then you're uploading it to the Mendeley. So it is already published document that you're having. So that's already a openly publicly available document that you can share with anybody. Yes, Mendeley is free. Yeah, Mendeley is a free software. So I got a question: is it free? Is there any tool to write thesis? So there is. Like Mendeley supports writing. There are tools which supports the writing. There is no tool that completely support when you write thesis. Even you can use the AuthorCafe to write your thesis. So that's also one of the tool. And also Mendeley, you can use it for references and citation. What if after writing a paper we need to change the style of the citation and bibliography? How do you do? You just have to change the style on the top in the Word. So it will change every style. So after you've written a paper, you can change it to any format that you want. That's very easy to change. Can data be retrieved if lost? In terms of the access, I'm not sure what your question is about. Maybe this is all published documents, so you will have it in your cloud. It will not be lost from the Mendeley. So Mendeley update the style of reference regularly. Example APA 6 and 7, and can we depend on? Yes, we will get style update often. So if you want to use, you can use it. If you still have an issue, you can go to the cls.mendeley.com to get the latest version there. Yeah, AuthorCafe, a difference between AuthorCafe and reference Mendeley. Mendeley is a reference manager tool. AuthorCafe is like a Word document where you, like it's similar to Word. So where you, when you, it will support you writing a research article. So this will, the reference part, especially the Mendeley, can also be integrated with AuthorCafe to give those information. You can also, when you're using a Word document, so I think Mendeley is the best one to suit you. Acronyms can be included without any issue. So yes, I think whatever that you write is depend on the Word document. So that's not depend on Mendeley. So what can we use for LibreOffice too? As you said, we can add into yes, this LibreOffice is also supported by Mendeley. What is the okay? Thank you. I don't understand the question. Revised paper back to reviewer before accepting. If you have I believe this is the status that you get from the editorial manager. Can you write it to the editorial manager so that they can respond in what status it is there? Can we import graphs from math? Yeah, I think if you're using a library, Mendeley data, so data.mendeley.com, where you can actually import the research data inside it. So this is just a reference manager. So can I import a graph from matplot library? I think you can. If you want, if you're talking about a data, then you need to use mendeley.data.com. What are the benefits of submitting or publishing a research paper in a special issue or a regular issue? So I think it depends upon your choice of which issue that you want to go. So, but both special issue is mostly on a common topic rather than a generalized concept that they have for a journal. So you need to make sure that you are covering that specific subject area that, or the theme of that special issue to submit it. So benefits is depends upon the paper is more relevant to that special issue or not. So that's what it is. Which app is best for plagiarism and grammatic error? So we don't support this plagiarism tool at Elsevier, but yesterday we have given a tool with that also used by the Crossref. But I'm not sure which one is best because I didn't do any review on that. So is it possible to access the recording of the event after? Yes, you can access it from the YouTube link. So everything is there. So that you can access it anytime. Maybe I can also check with Akila ma'am. What is the difference between a bibliography and a reference? So both are same. So what you refer at the end is the bibliography or references. So you give the acknowledgement, and you're telling about the source of the details, the main source, the details of the main source at the end. But the in-text citation is what you say, what you write inside the text, where you say like number 1 or the name. So bibliography and references are the same. Is Mendeley data certified? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe can you elaborate on the question, Mr. Sudhakar? Okay, we're working on Mendeley. How would you compare Mendeley and Zotero? Which one is better? So I'm not sure because I haven't used Zotero. The Mendeley is one thing that I can say is about Mendeley is having a lot of content from in the cloud. So there are a lot of users and they store a lot of content, which is the content depth should be a differentiator from any reference manager in the market. any workshop in future regarding AuthorCafe and Mendeley, yes, you can watch out in the web, or you can also follow my LinkedIn. So you can search my name. So I will post any workshop that we are going to conduct for Mendeley there. Please suggest some free but reliable online tool to check. Sorry, I don't have any advice for a plagiarism checker. I see a lot of questions related to it. Maybe we'll try to cover this in next sessions. Good to know about Mendeley. Okay. Yeah, can we club AuthorCafe and Mendeley? Yes, the reference manager, you can export the reference management from the Mendeley, and then you can integrate with your AuthorCafe, or you can also integrate with any tools. So if it supports that the format. Can you write 1 or 2 lines about Mendeley in research methodology? I don't think it's a research methodology. It is a tool that helps you to write a paper. So I think this cannot. I'm not sure whether if you're writing a tool about the methodology, maybe, but I'm not sure. Is it provide the footnote? No, it will not. So the footnote is basically that you need to define in the Word file. So it is not from Mendeley. For statistical calculation like standard deviation, shall we use AuthorCafe? I'm sorry, I can't answer that. Maybe you can drop a question to the AuthorCafe team. Neelanjan has shared you the email office. Is it provide a footnote? Yeah, answer it. Please say your LinkedIn account name. Okay, I will drop my LinkedIn in the chat. All right, so that ends the session, and then I answered almost every question. And thank you for your more interesting questions about Mendeley, and we will have more future workshops. Maybe you can follow my LinkedIn, so I will post most of the workshops, so you can also take advantage of those sessions. And I once again thank you all the organizing committee and also Dr. Cecil sir and helping and arranging this workshop and making it as a grand success, and also benefit to a lot of researchers throughout the globe and also here. Once again, I thank you very much for everyone who is organizing and support, and an institution that supports these workshops. Thank you very much, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am Akila.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights in Mendeley and also for addressing the question and answers. And now it's time to propose vote of thanks. I request Dr. P.C. Satyanarayanan to propose vote of thanks.
A pleasant good afternoon to one and all. As we come to close of the session and the workshop, I deem it's a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped making this event such a resounding success. On behalf of our organizing committee, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the speakers from elsewhere and AuthorCafe for accepting our invitation. My special thanks to today's speaker, Neelanjan Sinha and Sangeeth Cecil, raising your important work and sharing with us about the effective research, writing, and the usage of reference management with the help of Mendeley. I would like to express our profound gratitude to our principal, Dr. Srijanti ma'am, who spared time from her busy schedule to elegance the occasion for her presence in this workshop. The successful culminations of this workshop owes much to the guidance and support of our head of the department, Dr. N. Shetu, faculties, the event organizing committee, and all my colleagues, friends, and my sincere thanks to them. I would like to emphasize that this workshop has got a huge response. Totally 1,721 participants, among them 129 foreign participants from 21 countries have registered and participated from various fields at national and international level. Last but not least, I thank our beloved participants to making this program as a grand success. Once again, I thank one and all for presence here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And participants, kindly fill the feedback form 2 to get your certificates.
Madam, 1 minute.
Okay, ma'am.
Sir, I would like to give a special thanks to the technical support given by Mr. Sendil Kumar, because he's very high, because of his busy schedule. He has spent most of the time with us for past 1 week. Thank you, sir. And I also thank Sridevi for making the invitations and other technical supports. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you, Sangeeth, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day and meet you
Thank
in
you, sir.
future workshops. Thank you.
Sangeeth.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sangeeth, and all the organizing committee members, and especially the participants. Without your support, this program is not possible. Now we are telling this much participants have registered, and we have successfully conducted the program, all because of the participants only. I once again thank all the participants, organizing secretaries, organizing committee members, particularly the expert speakers who delivered a valuable lecture for all the 5 sessions. My special thanks to Mr. Sangeeth Cecil. It's interesting because, as I said in the beginning, in the introductory talk, reference part is very, very important in any part of thesis work or paper publication, anything, which I think in the Mendeley, first time I am also come across this. So really useful to us. I hope and everyone must have benefited from this program. Thank you once again for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.